Today is Monday, June 23, 2014. It's the 174th day of the year. There are 191 days remaining until the end of 2014. Sunrise today is at 5:07 a.m. The sun sets at 8:38 p.m. Length of daylight hours today is 15 hours, 31 minutes, 7 seconds. 7 seconds shorter than yesterday. Tomorrow will be 11 seconds shorter than today. The waning crescent moon with 13.7% illumination at 26 days old rises at 2:38 a.m. and sets at 5:11 p.m. The moon passes above downtown Rutland today at 242,122 miles distant from the center of planet Earth, within the second zodiacal designation, Taurus, the Bull. On this day in 1611, the English explorer and navigator Henry Hudson, his teenage son John, and 7 crewmen are set adrift by disgruntled shipmates in what is now Hudson's Bay in an open boat. In 1610, aboard the Discovery, the smallest at 38 feet of 3 vessels that participated in the initial voyage to settle Jamestown, Virginia, Hudson is commissioned by the Virginia Company and the British East India Company to find the Northwest Passage, the rumored open water route along the northern coast of the continent through the Arctic Sea to the Pacific Ocean. Instead, on August 2, 1610, passing the northern tip of Labrador, Hudson finds the large bay that now bears his name. He and his crew of jolly seafarers believe they've finally found the way west by sea and spend far too long exploring the eastern shores of the bay, hunting, fishing, frolicking, and ignoring the obvious signs that summer has ended. They find themselves quickly icebound and move ashore at the southern end of James Bay to spend a miserable winter. When spring 1611 arrives, as it does in that part of the world fairly late in the year, and the ice melts, Hudson wants to press on to the west. The passage is near, he insists. By then the crew is fed up, has had quite enough of Hudson's banana oil and empty promises of glory, and just wants to return to England. For a while, Hudson and his 7 loyal crewmen pathetically row after the Discovery, but exhausted, disheartened, ultimately cannot keep up. They recede from view on the open waters of Hudson's Bay and into history. They are never seen nor heard from again. Back in England, the leaders of the mutiny are tried for murder, of which they are acquitted, rather than mutiny, for which they surely would have hung. On this day in 1931, aviator Wiley Post and his navigator Harold Gatty take off for a record-setting flight, circumnavigating the globe. In 1930, the record for flying around the world is held by the Graf Zeppelin, the German-built and operated dirigible, piloted by Hugo Eckener in 1929 with a time of 21 days. On June 23, 1931, Post and Gatty leave Roosevelt Field near Mineola on Long Island, New York, in the high-wing, single-engine Lockheed Vega Winnie Mae, with a flight plan that would take them around the world. They arrive back in New York on July 1, after traveling 15,474 miles in the record time of 8 days, 15 hours, 51 minutes. The first global circumnavigation in history is the Magellan-Elcano expedition, which sails from Spain in 1519, 409 years before the post-Gatty flight, and returns 3 years later in 1522, having crossed the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Indian Oceans. On this day in 1990, actor Gary Busey, best known for his lead role in the 1978 biopic The Buddy Holly Story, purchases one of Buddy's old guitars, complete with the tooled leather case, handmade by Buddy Holly himself, at auction for approximately $240,000. On this day in 2003, singer Diana Ross pleads not guilty to drunken driving charges in Tucson, Arizona, after being discovered with a 0.20 blood alcohol content, more than twice the legal limit, 2.5 times drunk, while undergoing substance abuse treatment at a local rehabilitation facility. Ross claims the arresting officer threatens her with bodily injury if she doesn't take the breath test. Later, she serves a 2-day sentence near her Connecticut estate. Truman Capote writes, "Hot weather opens the skull of a city, exposing its white brain and its heart of nerves which sizzle like the wires inside a light bulb. And there exudes a sour, extra-human smell that makes the very stone seem flesh-alive, webbed and pulsing." From Rutland, Vermont, this is Richard Alcott speaking.